I'm going to show some of the questions as we go along, and then we could have a discussion with Gina, all right? Now, I'm going to share the screen of Gina's. All right, Gina, let's get into the discussion. The topic for the very first series is why you chose Avita.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really nice video that you share with all of us. One of the first things that I wanted to ask you about is the motivations, because everything that we do is start with having some kind of motivation or desire to move forward. For Gina, I think you have very courageously left your high-flying HR director role in a multinational corporation, your corporate job, and actually you ventured into operations of your own. Gina, could I ask you to share with all our audience here, what were your motivations and what was your experience like and the kind of courage that you take to jump into businesses from a cushy and well-secured corporate job? Gina, over to you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Hope, Alvin, the sound is okay, huh?
Yeah, it's
All
okay.
and clear? All right. So again, welcome everyone. And thank you for spending your Friday night. And it's Friday the 13th, huh? It almost feels like a Halloween. Okay, going to the question, what's my motivation? I definitely agree with you, Alvin. When you embark on something, there must be important reason or something that will really drive you to make towards that decision. And for me at the time, it was a very simple reason. I just wanted to have time for my two young boys. That's all. It was very clear to me in my heart and in my mind that I wanted to spend time with my two young boys. Although it sounds too cliche, no, to many of you, and I see some mothers over here as well in the chat room. It's not something unique. Many of the mothers, especially working parents, would agree to me that as a working mother, at the time I was at the peak of my career, Alvin. It was early 2000 at that time. But to give you a little bit of perspective, why it matters to me so much is because for 7 long years, me and my husband couldn't have children. We were infertile for the longest time, for 7 years. And so that desire to the motherhood was so much ingrained in me, and to be a parent and to really spend time with the kids. I grew up with a mom, a mother. We were 6 siblings. I had 5 other siblings, and my mom never worked. So it was that image of a mother, nurturing mother to the children that has built so much in my mind. And I know it's not the same for everyone. I'm just speaking for myself, but I really wanted so much to be like my mother. But I couldn't do it because at the height of my career, and I finally, after 7 years, I was blessed to have a child. But within a year, I also got pregnant again. And in such a short period of time, I had suddenly 2 young babies on my hand, juggling with my career. So Alvin, you know, you can imagine I would leave home very early in the morning and they are still sleeping. And then I would go back home quite late at night and they are already sleeping. So there was no interaction time until just the weekend. So it was a process. It was a process that I had to think about and plan for quite a while. So that was really my main motivation. Very simple. I just wanted to have more time for my kids.
Right. Tell us about your experience when you wanted to leave your corporate job and venture into business. Was that a scary decision to start with? I mean, I know that it is a scary decision for many people.
It always is. Getting out of your comfort zone is never easy. It's always a stretch. And I think it's, for many of us, it's a matter of when you go and make a career shift or a career decision, it's always a question of is it risky? Am I going to fail? That's always the next question. So is it risky? Am I going to fail? And many of us would be stopped with those lingering questions in our mind. So for me, those were, yeah, it was definitely not an easy decision. It was something I had to incubate for a couple of years before I finally took the leap of faith. It was something I had to discuss with my husband because obviously with a young family, I also had some responsibilities. I cannot just make a decision quickly overnight to do that. So it was something that we had to think through, discuss, and then plan ahead.
Hmm. What would you advise to some of the people who are in the audience right now who might be thinking about moving from a corporate job and to take a plunge into being an entrepreneur?
By the way, before I answer that question, just feel free to type in your questions in the group chat, and then we'll come back. Me and Alvin will come back and pick it up from there. Don't wait until I finish or we finish the discussions. Just feel free to type in your comments or your questions on the chat group, and we'll answer you. So
Right.
going back to the question, what advice? Yeah, for me is really find the reason on why you wanted to make the shift. If it's something that you, for example, for me, it was the time freedom that I really value a lot, which I could not at that time find having a 9-to-5 job. So find the reason on why. It could be an extra income, or it could be a meaning, a different meaning to that you are longing for. It could be something that or a certain passion, a certain dream that you always wanted to pursue, but you cannot do that with a 9-to-5 job. So find really that reason on why you wanted to make that shift. And once you identify that, Alvin, is to really evaluate, like what I said earlier, it's a responsibility. So if you are married, as opposed to being a single, it's a different evaluation, the decision you have to make. And also, if you are a breadwinner, let's say for your family, making that decision may take some time. It could be a matter of 2 to 3 years, say, of planning and discerning and making towards or planning towards the fulfillment of that desire. It may not be overnight. So find the reason why you wanted to change or shift your career, and then evaluate your position, discuss if you need to discuss it with your family or with your spouse at least. And then the third one is, once you made all those evaluations, is to just go for it. For me, Alvin, is I said to myself, I would rather take the risk of failing rather than to regret not trying at all.
All right, thank you very much. I would like to invite all the listeners to key in any questions that you would like to ask Gina, okay, onto the chat, and then we will get around to you in a short while. But in the meantime, I have a second question that I would like to ask Gina about, and that is this, all right, about following dreams. And she had literally shown many of us that she followed her dreams, right? And I would like to ask about, in following your dreams, because we don't get trained in this following dream lessons. There isn't such a lesson in schools, right? We attend primary school, secondary school, high school, university, but there wasn't a class that says follow your dream. And so what lessons and tips can you share to the listeners in this panel here?
For me, is to really evaluate for yourself what many times when we were young, we had so much dreams, Alvin. In the younger days, we dare to dream. We had the courage to dream. And then we decided to sleep and not wake up. And the dream became just forever a dream. And then we became adults, and suddenly we were inculcated with mindset that dreams are just, don't be too idealistic. Just go on and work, and dreams are just for children and all that. So, what the experience of my career shift, what that taught me is to really just be brave enough to believe at least and hope into doing something that you really wanted to do. In my case, is to really have the time freedom to spend with my family. So for you, it could be, let's say, like you, Alvin, I know you like social enterprise, right? Like helping people, even outside of Singapore. Many people could resonate with you on that. So it could be something like that. I would suggest for many of us who are joining here in this discussion is to really take ownership of your goal. Get hold of those dreams again. If you already forgotten about it, maybe tomorrow will be a good time to walk in the park and remember again what you wanted to do all this time.
Reclaim it,
So,
right? Reclaim it.
reclaim it, because it's free anyway, and believe that you can, because that is what the experience I had on really following my goals and dreams. And Alvin, I have this one question in the chat room. I think this is one.
I was going to point to that.
Yeah.
One person who asked that, hi Gina, it was mentioned that you faced fears. Now, all through your journey, did those fears keep coming back to haunt you? And how did you handle those fears?
Oh, definitely. I think it's natural. It's natural for me. I had different levels of fear, if you may call it, at different stages of my life. Most of the time, it's the fear to fail. I would say from my experience, because at the time I invested quite a big amount on my other businesses, and I took the risk of quitting a comfortable, high-paying job, a good career, over a certain choice. So that was one of the fears that I have. Does it haunt me? Not really haunt me. It comes back. But then now, at where I am right now, because I've already experienced some success in Avita, it's more, I suppose it's more, it's not really that, the gravity or the level of fear is different from when I was starting. So for me, it's to just find some people as well, some mentors that can coach you towards your journey, because it's always never easy, especially when you're starting a business or anything for that matter. So I'm surrounded with a lot of mentors along the journey, so that they are the ones who also allowed me to overcome my fear.
I recall you mentioned in your video that when you started off building your own businesses in Philippines, the laundry business, the building management business and all that, one of the major hiccup was when you are actually feeling a bit lonely and you have no mentors to guide you. You would like to expand a little bit on the experience as opposed to what kind of mentor you are having now?
Back when I did my own businesses, I did attended a lot of coaching and mentoring programs, we call it. But then it was just a program that you attend, and probably an online learning that you have to spend once a week or so. But there's no one that really guided me along every step of the way in all my businesses. And since I didn't do a franchise business, I started all from scratch. I had to really learn the hard way. I was so proud, I may say it, at the time I thought my career experience would be enough.
Right.
I had to juggle a lot, Alvin. I had to do my own HR, interviewing a lot of people. Okay, that is my forte maybe, but I also had to do my cash flow, even looking after the daily operations of the businesses and running it remotely from Singapore is not easy. Although I have some people who are managing it in the Philippines, it's different when they do not own the business. And so there were quite a lot of problems that went
Well, during all this time, there's a question here that says that obviously it's asked by a wife of some husband. She says that, did you have a hard time in convincing your husband to leave the comfortable corporate world and go into the network marketing?
Oh, wow. I tell you, there were a couple of major debates in my career that me and my husband didn't see eye to eye. The
Oh,
first one, yeah, the first one was the change from being an engineer for the longest time. I was in the engineering field to doing HR. My husband is an engineer, and he said to me, "You are an engineer. You will die an engineer. Do not make that shift. Do not make that. You will regret it." So that was the first one, and then I insisted. I said I wanted to try. I wanted to just venture into something new. So I went into HR, and I didn't regret it. So that the other thing is, I think it was Marisa asking it. Did I had a hard time? Not really, because back then my husband and I were benefiting a lot from the products of Avita. I was already a consumer back then, so he was enjoying a lot of my meridian therapy.
ah,
After work, I will massage him, and then he was also consuming Celogen and benefiting from Celogen. He lost a lot of weight and was having a lot of energy. So I was a consumer of the Avita products for some time when I transited into becoming a distributor. So it wasn't difficult for him to shift because he believed in the product and he knew that it helps people, it adds value to people's lives, and therefore the network marketing part was not something new to him.
so in other words, he saw the potential behind that those
Yes,
products. It's not just that he is benefiting from it, but because he is benefiting from it, he could understand that there will be many others who will benefit the same as well.
exactly.
All right. Could I move on to the next questions? And the next question is that network marketing, since there are people who ask about network marketing, to you, how real is it a profession? How big could it be as a business, and how long could you take it on as a career? We'd like to hear your comment on that, and please,
Okay.
everybody, because I think everybody will have this question for you as well.
Yeah, very good. I think it's kind of like related also to a question that Trini was asking everyone about
Mm.
networking being a selling business. Is it demeaning or degrading to you? I'll be very honest with you. When I first heard about networking, I was just new in the corporate world, and I looked down on it because exactly of what Trini was saying. I thought it was a selling career, a selling business, a door-to-door kind of business, or I would stand up in the MRT or somewhere in public
Mm.
and give or talk to people randomly, knock on the doors and all that. So I thought it was just a selling business, and therefore I looked down. I must admit, I looked down, and I never really looked at it as a business and as a proper career that you can really do in the long haul. And what changed my mind is
Before you come to that, I would like to kind
okay.
of like invite all the audience at this juncture to make a comment in the chat about your idea of network marketing as well, and it would be great to kind of like read what everybody think about network marketing, and let's see if Gina has anything to add to your comments to this. Gina, please continue.
Okay. Where am I? So yeah, in the beginning, I had misconceptions about networking. It was primarily from the things that I hear from other people, probably the news that I receive, or things that I watch on TV or in the newspaper, the scams and all that. All these notions about network marketing, and I already, in my mind at that time, I already formed an image or what networking is all about. So I was not really open to that for quite a while. Until I was involved in Avita, And for me, it's really about looking and evaluating the products in itself. If the product resonates with you, if the product is something that you are proud to represent, if it's a service that you are excited to do, then go for it. Because yeah, so that for me is very important in evaluating a network marketing company. And in the video,
is that the only thing that you
not
value?
the only thing. In the video, I also mentioned that for me, being in the corporate world and looking into sustainability of the business in the corporate world, I looked after training and development of the people.
Right.
That for me, how you build a sustainable business when you have a workforce that's equipped and you have a good training system that will sustain the business. So that for me is very important because, as I said in the video, you can tell a good company from a bad company, or a good networking from a bad networking company by looking into their education system. And that's one of the first things that I scrutinize in Avita. I really look into the education system because I said, if there's no robust education system, Alvin, there's no commitment to long-term goals for the people or the company for that matter. And I'm after long-term because for me, at building the Avita business, for me, Alvin, I look at it as a legacy business. It's a legacy business for my son with autism. It's something that I can build to him. So I'm looking for sustainability. That for me is very important, the sustainability aspect.
Hang on to that a little bit because I think some of the audience may get a bit confused about what do you mean by legacy system. I mean, to many people, they will imagine legacy as you build a business and then you kind of like hand it over to the second generation, and then the second generation hand it over to the third generation. How will you describe your Avita network marketing business as a form of legacy business for you?
The aspect of the Avita business that really attracted me a lot is the fact that it's billable. That means I can build my business as big and as wide, as deep as I can be, and then I can pass that business, whatever ranking, whatever position I have, whatever network size that I have, onto my son in case I leave Earth, in case I die. So that for me is very important, so that at least my son will have a source of income and he doesn't need to go to the rat race if he doesn't want to.
Excellent.
That for me is what I listen to.
Right. Thank you very much for that. Fantastic. Do we have some interesting questions here?
Would you leave?
Dr. Diona says that for me, Avita MLM is a business with a heart. It is a business of helping people with their health and wealth. The more people you help, the more the universe rewards you. Wow, that's a beautiful way of saying it.
Beautiful.
There's a questions by Joanna who asks, what are the difficulties you face when you first started to build your networking, especially in getting business partner?
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, I think the aspect of, because many a times when you have, like for me, I came from a successful corporate career, Alvin. I was kind of like a little bit uncoachable in the beginning. So I always do it my own way because I thought I knew. You know, I was an HR director. Come on, I interview people. I hire people. I hire different levels of people, management or in many areas. So I know how to interview people and I know how to recruit people.
Right.
Yeah. So that, Joanna, that aspect of the difficulty is when I was not coachable. I did not learn enough on how to prospect properly, how to discuss with my uplines before I even talk to someone. So for me, that was the first biggest learning and obstacle that I faced is to develop that habit of discussing with the uplines and really eating a humble pie to learn to learn from the mentors. So no matter how successful you are, I realize, Alvin, that no matter how successful you are in your current or past career, it doesn't guarantee success in networking because it's totally a different set of skills. So I
Right.
would encourage all of you who are here, either you are a distributor or someone evaluating this business. One of the crucial things as a newbie network marketing professional is to really being have that um, habit of learning and to be coachable and to really learn from the mentors.
It's certainly more challenging the higher you climb in the corporate world. Now everybody
Exactly.
listens to you there. Now you got
You
to
can
listen.
relate. You
Yeah.
can relate to that as well.
Okay, there's another good question here. I'm going to just call out the whiteboard, and this question goes this way. Let me bring it up bigger a little, right? So it says that, okay, let me put it to black. Yep. Do you not feel at the start that to be with networking is like being with a company where you will be asked to sell their product? It's like sales lady, you know? Isn't that a bit of demeaning or degrading since you're a very educated person, especially when you have reached a high position in the corporate world? Come on, a HR director, and you're now made a sales lady. What is your comment on that? I think this is a really nice question.
Yeah, that was the initial that was an initial perception I had, which later on, as I came to understand the business platform better and better, it's beyond selling. Yes, selling is a part of it, Alvin. But if you want to grow your business sustainably in this business, it's beyond selling. It's not just your own ability to sell as many as you can, but it's about really working together with your partners, motivating and encouraging them, and really finding and supporting them into their working towards their own dreams and goals as well. Because the more you help people in your network achieve their goals, the better reward you will have. So it becomes more than just you selling boxes of Salogen or selling products. Whilst it is a part of it, it's not all. In fact, majority of it, especially now as a Diamond president, I find that my responsibility, I now feel compelled and responsible for the results of my people and how I can support them. It's not just about my own results anymore, although that is still also something I need to do, but it's more about the responsibility for the results of my people. How can my platinum directors achieve the income level that they wanted to achieve? How can all my GAs and all and everyone in my network move forward closer to their dreams and their goals? So that's
So
for me.
surely that will also mean that you got to help many people who were just like you before, who may have a misunderstanding about what network marketing is, who may thought that network marketing is a selling business, who may have a problem with finding their dreams or have not claimed back their dreams. There's this particular questions here by someone else, and I would like to put it on the whiteboard again. She says that, let me just pull here, right? She says, I had no idea what network marketing was. After I learned and used a product, I became passionate about the health and wellness. That's quite naturally the journey for a typical consumer in that sense. But this lady, I didn't really see as a business at first. My why wasn't strong enough to make me cry. So I couldn't fly. See, it rhymes.
Oh.
So assuming that this lady is one of your in your network and one of your downline, and how would you, having been there, done that, and now you could appreciate the journey much better, how would you help to make this person cry so that she could fly?
um, Over the course of my journey in Avita, my why, it was always this thing, oh, what's your why? You know, we always hear that question from many of the people, not just in our industry, but in many other pursuits. What's the reason for you doing that? Sometimes it's also, it changes depending on your journey as well. When I was starting, I think for that lady, when I was starting, also because remember I quit my job.
Right.
So from dual income, suddenly we had a single income. Now only my husband is supporting the entire family. So for me, my immediate need at the time is money. To
Right.
just quick money. That's why Alvin, when my brother-in-law was telling me, oh, let's put up a stall, let's put up this. Okay, wherever we can make money, just go.
Mm.
I didn't even evaluate whether that business is something that resonates with me, whether
Right.
that business is meaningful to me. There's no meaning for me. It's just to make money. That's all. I just want to help my husband. I just want to go back to the income level that I was enjoying. So that was my initial why. So sometimes your why, you don't need to be dramatic on your why.
Mm.
Your why can be as practical as really, I must have food on my table.
Right.
I must have some money to provide for my family. It doesn't need to, it doesn't have to be overly dramatic. I
Mm.
think you just be honest and sincere. What do you need? What do you really need in your life at the moment? And then forwards later on, it also evolved. Later on, as I mentioned to you, my why became, no, I want to build this business for my son with autism. So it does evolve. In the beginning, it wasn't as apparent and as clear, but it changes. So I would encourage you to just look into yourself and really find, don't listen to what the others are saying. Whatever you need, whatever you find lacking in your life or whatever you wanted to pursue, make that as a reason. Let that be the reason why you wanted to pursue Avita or pursue something for that, anything for that.
All right. So your answer to the lady's question is now you're going to talk to the lady. You're going to speak to yourself, right? To make yourself cry so that you can fly. All right. Let's move on to the next questions that we are prepared for. And this is why Avita? Now, how do you, Avita is a network marketing opportunity. Let's get down to some level of details of how you evaluate it. What is exactly in your view now, having been there, done that, and become successful in the network marketing industry? Would you evaluate a good network marketing opportunity? Share with us your success experiences at Avita. What are some of the memories, some of the touch point that that's moved you, grow you, evolve you to be a better person over in Avita, as you mentioned in your video?
Yeah, for me, I will answer first your question about evaluating the good network marketing company. I think quite a number of it I also touched on earlier. It's really going back into the basics of believing in the product, seeing the value in the product, and if it's something that you are proud to represent and you believe certainly that you um, that it can help many people. In fact, Alvin, I will frankly tell even the prospects that I have or friends that I have, if you don't believe in the product, don't even think about doing the business. I would
Right. So that's number
really
one.
bluntly tell them to them because then you don't have the sincerity and people can smell sincerity, people can see sincerity. So for me is be sincere in whatever you do. So if it's if it resonates with you, if it's something that helps you, your families, and you see potential in helping many other families, many other people, go ahead. You're in the right track. And then, of course, the other fundamentals will be the market opportunity. If you want to make it bigger and sustainable, it must be a growing market. So those are the fundamentals of the business that we have to take care of.
How do
Then
you
instead,
evaluate Avita from the perspective of growing market? What is your
um,
what's your analysis of that? Yeah.
for example, I'll just look into Celagen.
All right.
Celagen is primarily the product gearing towards the aging population.
Mm.
And when we talk about aging population, or premature, not just aging population, but even premature aging, Alvin. And nowadays, because of the lifestyle, the environment, and now the stress, many other factors surrounding us, this group of the age of premature aging is becoming earlier and earlier. So if you look into the market, it's like 30 years old and above. And you will have many other generations following this premature aging market. So that for me is a big market potential that could be a good fundamental or basis for a sustainable growing business in
Right.
the long run.
In other words, many generations to come. It's
Yes.
not just a fad.
It's not a fad business. Yeah, it's not a fad business. It's not something that people need just now. But it's something that people needs now and more than ever in the future.
Right, right.
So the next question, yeah.
Any evaluation point that you have about how you evaluate a good marketing, a good network marketing opportunity? I know that your network is expanding across Asia. I mean, is that important, or like, for example, Philippines very big. I mean, we have quite a number of people from Philippines dialed in here tonight. Is it okay to have a company that offers a single country versus how many countries is Avita in now?
Yeah, for me, I mentioned in the video as well that I looked into one of the reasons why I considered Avita is the ability for me to represent it in the international market. Being a Singapore company, Singapore brand. So even now with what's going on in COVID, Singapore has been recognized by the World Health Organization for being the gold standard in managing the situation, the COVID outbreak. So that says a lot about the governance of Singapore. So for me, Singapore in itself is a brand.
Right.
So if I can have Singapore as a brand to represent in Indonesia, let's say, not just in the Philippines, but certainly, of course, in the Philippines because I'm from there. But if I can have a brand that I can represent that's synonymous to integrity, quality, and really, good governance, then that for me is a very good advantage. It's a competitive advantage towards other companies. So we can easily penetrate into Hong Kong, into Indonesia, Malaysia, and even China, Thailand, and many other countries. So again, building a legacy of sustainable business with a big market, regional market, is one of the factors that really attracted me a lot.
Okay, just in case some of the people here are quite newbies, they are quite new and maybe evaluating the business. There's these questions by Gina here, which I thought it would be quite helpful to address at this point. Let me pull up the whiteboard again. So, okay, let me erase this off. Okay, here. She asks, will you be successful even if a newbie decides to embark on this business as a part-timer? Or must I also leave my current job and invest my full-time here, just like what you did? What would be your response to these questions?
We have many success stories of people who have worked the business as a part-timer. That means they're still holding their jobs while building their Avita business. Remember earlier on, as I said, whenever you want to make a career shift and it's not possible for you to make a sudden shift now, you can work a plan, maybe 2 or 3 years. And many of us in here, in this chat room, many people in the chat room like PB Kid and many others, even Catherine, are working towards their Avita business for about 2 to 3 years with the aim of being full-time Avita. So I remember my mentor also, DP Joey, CPA Joey. He was working as a vice president in a multinational engineering firm while doing Avita business. So it's not an issue for him. So it's a side hustle in the beginning. So you work. He's working on his bread and butter, but he's working towards Avita as a long-term business for him after office hours, and then spending some of the time of his weekend building the business. And then later on, when he grew the income about 80%, closer to the salary of his current job, he decided to fire his boss and quit his job and work full time in Avita. That for me is a plan. So it could be different for different people. Some may decide, like Alvin decided to launch into it after a career. So am I as well. So for me, it doesn't matter, Alvin. It's just a matter of having the consistency of actions to work towards your plan, whether it's immediate or 2 to 3 years full time. Doesn't matter.
In other words, is having a very clear plan or hatching it together with your mentor is very crucial.
Yes.
Could you share with me how would you hatch such a plan with your associate, whether they are in Singapore or in the Philippines? I'm sure a lot of people will benefit from this advice as well.
Yeah, for a newcomer in Avita, we have a process called 48 hours. And it's something that we do once a distributor comes on board and decides to do the business. You sit down with your upline mentor and you make a decision to set your goals. Remember, we always say begin with the end in mind. So we would like you to take ownership of your goals and then plan something. Do the 48 hours to set when do you want to become full-time. There was this question, when do you want to do the business full-time? If it's 2 years, 3 years, then work towards that. So I would suggest for those who are new, or maybe some of those who are just evaluating the business, once you be on board in becoming a distributor in Avita, take that first step to set your goals. With your upline mentor, so that the upline mentor will also know how to support you and then would know how to work together, some action plans to build or to work towards your goal.
And that is so important, isn't it?
Very important.
Yep. Right, and there is a very interesting comment by Chong Ping. I'm going to pull it out to share what he typed in the text. And shortly after that, I'm going to invite him to come online and talk to us about his comment. Right, he says that sharing my thought about selling. Just now you were talking about selling, right? And when you get somebody to consume Salogen, whether you're doing it as a business or helping, I'm selling, isn't it? If I gave a box to someone, not business, the person may just keep it in his cupboard and forget about it. The idea is not transferring the goods, is to get the person to want to consume what you're giving. And that is selling, whether for money or not, no? There was quite an interesting comment here. And because I think a lot of people will have this idea about selling is not their cup of tea. Or I've never been selling before, I've never done sales before, and therefore I'm not suitable for network marketing. Let me invite Chong Ping. Chong Ping, are you there?
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, could we see you as well?
Okay, let me comb my hair first.
You have to comb your hair first, okay. Yeah, please comb your hair.
Hello.
Hi there.
Yeah, because I think we all get carried away with the idea that selling is bad. But to be very, very honest with everyone, whether you are in corporate, whether you are doing a business, or even you're just out there being a good Samaritan trying to help people, you are selling. Because if you want to help someone and someone refuses to consume Salogen, take it and say thank you, then you have not achieved your purpose.
You're echoing.
Yeah, no, that's because Wendy is here with me and we are both watching this together. And if you look at very successful people, right? People who are even successful in the corporate world, they go for an interview and they are able to find jobs. And these are the people who will be successful anywhere they go, whether they start a business or anything. So a profiling of a person. So when we start to have this idea, please, everyone go home, teach your children that selling is good. Because if you can't even sell yourself in the interview, you are not going to get a job. You're not even getting the university place or anything in life. So don't give them the wrong idea that selling is bad. In fact, selling is the very, very key skill that everyone must have.
So in
That's
other
what
words, is that we are born selling, and
we
selling
are
is
born to have to sell. Yeah.
yeah, selling is actually a very natural thing for everybody.
Yes.
It's that notion that salesman is not a respectable job, or it's a pastoral that created this idea that sales is no good, isn't it?
Yes. Yes. I think it's a crucial life skill. Selling is the crucial life skill, and I hope everybody remembers that and teach the next generation. Because if your son wants to get extra pocket money, he had better sell you a very good reason why he needs extra pocket money. Otherwise, he ain't gonna get the money.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chongping, for coming on.
Okay.
Yeah, as a guest speaker, and I would like to invite another one to make a comment on this, which is Nguyen. Are you on? And I think she'll make an interesting remark. Let me just share with you on the whiteboard first. All right. Let me erase this off. Okay. And she say this further to Chongping's thought on selling. If we examine ourselves, we are and have always been selling. Example, when you're dating, you sell yourself to your other half, or you're selling yourself as a great daughter or son-in-law, or a good employee or a good parent. For me, the challenge in network marketing is to be able to demonstrate the belief that the products really helps, rather than helping oneself to make money. And this was a point that I thought it was really great, because it reinforces what Gina shared just now, that unless you develop a feeling, and you have a passion and a belief in the product through your own personal experiences, you're not going to be able to bluff your way through, because your sincerity and your authenticity will pour out from all the pores of you. Let me invite Nguyen to come online and say a few words. Where are you?
Okay, I'm here.
You're here. Do we see you?
No.
It's okay.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Yep.
Yeah.
You
No. I
explain
I
a
just
little
want.
bit on the comment that you make, that how you sold yourself to your husband, and you sold to your mother-in-law.
No, think I think subconsciously, we are always selling in some form. Whether you sell as along the life stage, right? There is always something that you are selling yourself. So I think we shouldn't be too conscious about the fact that whether we are selling, that we are doing selling here and we're pushing products. For me is that, what exactly are we selling? The belief that, it helps. For me, my greatest challenge, right, is that people tend to think that network marketing is a lot of hard push, right? And if you can get it off the shelf, it's a lot more credible because it's on the shelf. When you make referral, even if I go GNC as a member, if I refer it to another member, I do get extra bonus, right? So that is indirectly, I also get bonus, right? But the fact that it is behind the scene and it's on the shelf, it doesn't seem like a hard push to whoever you are recommending. So whereas in network marketing, because of the fact that the way that it's built, people tend to think that that when you recommend the product, it might not be with the best interest, right? The best interest is yourself rather than the other side. So for me, when we are reading to some of the comments that we all get very hung up about selling, right? I think the selling part it's a natural thing to all of us, like what Chongping was saying. It's all part of us. Whether so the part is, how do we leverage ourselves, and how do we want to put the message across, and what do we want to emphasize, in this business. If you want to, when we embark on this business, I think that would be the magical point, whether business will take off or not. To me, that will be that's my greatest challenge.
Great. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing. And so selling, is it a good thing or a bad thing? Okay. I'm going to bring on somebody here who has been sold to by the speaker herself, Gina. All right. And so let's ask her whether having been sold to by Gina, was it a good thing, a bad thing? Was it something that she was grateful or not grateful about? So Dr. Diona, are you on?
Yes. Hi, I'm on.
Where are you? I can see you.
Oh, you blocked my video.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I've asked you to turn on your video now. Can you turn on your video so that everybody can see you as well? Great. Hi there. Okay, so I understood that
Hi.
was it how many years ago you were the victim? Were you the victim that Gina came and sold you Salogen, and so were you grateful or otherwise? Share.
Yes, Dee.
That was 2015. I am very, very grateful that Gina shared with me about Celery. Because if she did not share, if she did not take the courage to go to my condo and just shared with me about Celergen, she doesn't even know whether I need it or not. She just shared. And if she did not, my mother will not be alive anymore. And my mom keeps telling me that every time I mom. Yeah.
Will
So
you
I'm forever
say
grateful.
a few more lines on that, because there are many people in the audience who might not understand what you're
Know
saying.
the story.
Yeah, I mean, for Gina to sell you Salogen, how? I mean, what has your mother got to do with it?
Oh, my mom. Because when Gina came, when Gina shared with me about Celergen during that time, my initial reaction was that I was skeptic. I said to myself, it's too good to be true. And then a few months later, my mom got very sick with severe heart failure. And I thought of Celergen and I asked them, please send me one box. I was desperate to, to save my mother from a near death experience. And when I started her on Celergen, I saw the miracle, her health turnaround, and I saw the healing power of cell therapy. And from then on, I'm forever grateful, and I keep sharing it with anyone who needs it. Yeah.
I think since then till now, Dr. Diona, you must have saved, I don't know how many hundreds
Hundreds of lives.
lives. Yeah. Okay, I think it's very interesting, this conversation at this juncture, whereby we are talking about selling, and some people think about selling as bad, and some people have different connotation about it. And here you have Gina sold something to Dr. Diona in 2015 that created a whole new relationship all the way to today. So Gina, could you share, at that point in time, do you still recall how did you sell to Dr. Diona? And yeah,
Actually, I,
let's gain some
yeah.
insight, and let's draw some lessons from these interactions, this exchange, and these connections that dated back almost 5 years ago to 2015.
Yeah, back then, actually, I kind of like
Hang on, for
had a,
one more
yeah,
thing that I would like y'all to establish. Were y'all really great friends? I mean, that y'all known each other for like since birth or
not
something?
at all, not at all. She was a friend of a friend of a friend, that kind of relationship. So I don't know her. It was Gay Monaris who introduced Dr. Diona to me. And back from the information from the C profile that Gay Monaris has given me, the profile of Dr. Diona to me was that I knew she was doing acupuncture. She's a doctor and she was also into integrative medicine. So back then, I actually presented meridian therapy to her because I thought that would resonate with her. because that's the best information I have during that time. So I did a de-stress workshop to her, Russia, her and the husband. And towards the end of the workshop, I then briefly introduced Celagen. So Celagen was just a brief introduction to her. So it was mainly my intention at the time is to introduce the DIY, do-it-yourself beauty of meridian therapy to a doctor in the Philippines. Because I find it really, really amazing after I attended the Meridian Ambassador course in Singapore. And so I thought if many Filipinos can learn this and benefit from this valuable natural therapy, that would be good. And I thought of sharing it to her, being a PCM doctor as well, doing acupuncture to her patients. I thought she would appreciate it, and she did. But Celagen was transformational to her life because of the story that she shared.
So on that fateful day, Dr. Diona, do you buy a lot of things from Gina?
No, it's
Not by any.
Nothing. Yeah. Zero. Big zero that you show to the camera. Yeah.
but we kept in touch. We kept in touch, Alvin.
Could I now fast forward from 2015, that fateful day where Gina presented whatever, Meridian 101 and Celagen to a stranger, to a new friend. I mean, a friend or a friend or a friend, right? Till today, 5 years later. Dr. Diona, may I ask you how big a network have you developed under you now? 20 people, 30 people, 50 people?
I think it's around 800.
Can you say it again to everyone?
800.
800. Yeah. Do you have any idea about the amount of sales that has gone through Dr. Diona's network? Gina, any idea?
More than $1 million Sing dollars.
More than $1 million. So it started with one sales that did not even sell anything, did not even sell anything, and it went on 5 years later, generated over $1 million sales under Dr. Diona's network, which has grown to about 800 people. And I believe that next year today, if we were to have another Zoom talk, it will have gone past 1,000 people, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, and that is the beauty of network marketing. And thank you very much, Dr. Diona, for coming on as a guest speaker. Yep, thank you.
Yeah, that's why, Alvin, if you may allow me, that's why the question here, there was a gentleman who asked, would you leave the corporate job even if you are receiving more than what you're getting from Avita and why? That's precisely the story, like what you said just now with Dr. Diona. I definitely will still leave my corporate job because in the corporate job, there's a ceiling, there's a maximum to what I can get. But in Avita, there's exponential growth. And imagine that's just one network under me, but if this can go on and the multiplication factor, the leverage factor in Avita is something that I truly will not trade for a corporate career. And so to answer your question, the gentleman who asked the question, I will still choose Avita.
Could I ask you, however high as a HR director in your multinational corporations that spans the world, would you have a department that has 800 people under you?
No, the whole company is, at the time when I was heading the HR department, we were about 350 employees at the time in Singapore.
So now you have gone.
Not even close.
Yeah, you have grown by leaps and bounds, even over and above your CEO at that point in time.
Yeah, and that's also one of the beauty of the network marketing platform is its ability, the leverage part of the business is something truly amazing. That although Dr. Diona, for example, is building her own network, I'm not giving any salary to her, nor to any of my network distributors. They're all doing that and they have the same opportunity as me, Alvin. So that is the beauty of it. And even they can even become better than me, even earn higher than me. And for me, that's fair. That's something beautiful that I could never see in my corporate job. I could never earn more than my CEO or my other bosses. But
Brilliant.
in the network platform, it's possible. So it's something that I wouldn't trade for. And I'm glad I made that decision, and I'm glad I made that career shift.
Wow, great. I mean, I could see now why you in the very end of your video you say, "I'm glad I've chosen Avita."
Avita, yeah, indeed.
All right, now I'm going to invite everyone. Now is the Q&A time, so you're going to have a free reign questions to Gina. Should you have any questions that you'd like to ask, anything, okay, about her
I would
video?
encourage also those who are new, probably, or exploring the Avita business.
And,
Don't be shy. You can type. You can just type. You don't need to speak to the audio if you don't want to. But just type in your questions.
that's right.
Yeah.
All right. There's in the meantime, I have one or two questions that came on. I'm just going to put it up and invite Gina to share. Let me call up my whiteboard. Right. First questions. This is Jack. Chongping shared Salagen with me. As a result of his sharing, my chronic pain after my brain surgery has been eliminated significantly. Like Dr. D, I'm very grateful, thankful to Chongping. So selling is good. Wow, great. So
Wow, fantastic.
another very good testimony. Yeah. Let me see if there's any other interesting remarks that how do you develop teamwork between sideline and crossline so you have solidarity? Whoa, this is a good. Yes,
I would not like to take credit for that. That question, I would, there's this saying that we have to be grateful for really the leaders who have established this culture in the Avita business of sidelines working together, cross line supporting each other, which you can never find in any other network marketing company. And for that, I really give the due recognition and gratitude to all our pioneering leaders, for our leaders in Avita, PA Josephine, DP Pauline, PA Alvin, DP Joey, DP Tengi, DP Shuling, and many others who started the business.
Yeah.
It was, if not for them, they are the ones who set it, let's see. They are the ones who set the culture for us in Avita. But having said that, setting it is one thing, but it's not automatic. We, the new generations, the younger generations of leaders and distributors in Avita must carry on this torch and must continue this culture, and we should not take it for granted, because if we don't value it, then the effort that our leaders have done in the past will be wasted. So I find it really, I think, really, my heart is full of gratitude for our leaders for really paving the way for us to have this kind of culture in Avita, something that we are truly grateful for, and let's keep it at that. Let's work towards it, especially for the new ones, the new distributors.
Great, thank you. And talking about new one, there's a question by a newbie. Her name is...
I like her question.
Yeah, let me pump the question here. How to get started to widen your market? I am very new. This is from Marie.
Yeah, I love it. Maybe she, thank you for that question, Lee and Mary. Lee and Mary was properly telling me, Gina, enough of talking. How do I get started?
Yeah, what is your, Gina, so what is, speaking to Marie directly now, okay? She's looking into the screen and looking directly at you now and imagining she's right before you, Gina. What are you going to say to her? Marie, 1, 2, 3, what would be your advice be?
Yeah, firstly is to really sit down with your upline mentor. May I know who invited Mary? If you can type the person who have invited you to join in, can you put in the name in the chat room? Oh,
Yeah,
I'm getting
Marie.
excited. Mary, can you put in the name of who invited you? Catherine from Singapore.
Oh, wonderful. Amazing, Catherine.
Ah,
Yeah, we love
okay.
Catherine. Yeah.
Then you have a fantastic team behind you. So that's the
Good hand.
first thing, is to be on board with your team. Start that, remember I said earlier about goal setting, and really to be connected with your mentor. It's like, now that you said you're very new, you're like a baby. So you're sucking milk. Still, really, if I can just explain it, like you are like a baby. So you're still sucking milk from your mentor leaders. And it's not just Catherine, we have a very powerful upline mentors in VP Shuling, CPA Joey, even PA Alvin, all the way to PA Alvin as well. So first thing is to really be on board and establish that communication and regular meeting with your mentor. That is very, very important in the Avita. Second one is begin your training. No, you can do self-training, and you can also do Zoom training, or if you are in Singapore, attend our Empower Next training is very important. And as you do these two things together, start doing and taking some actions, little steps. So those are the third step. You don't need to wait to become an expert to get started. You already can start it together with your upline. So those are the three things out there. If I may just put it simply: work, establish a relationship with your mentor, upline mentor, to get on board, and then start with your training and start learning on the job, or doing small baby steps together with your mentors.
Okay, just in case our newbie Marie has any other question to ask, I'm going to unmute you and invite you over to, so that we could all see you.
I like what she said. Huh? I'm getting excited to be successful.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, you know, having the passion is the first step towards your eventual success. Marie, can you start on your video now so that we could see you? Great, Marie. Finally, we saw you. We see you now.
Hello, everyone.
Hi there. Hi there.
Hi, good evening. I'm so sorry. I'm not really ready to talk because you see, I'm about to sleep.
You're about to sleep. Okay, just talk a little bit and then you can go and sleep.
Yeah. By the way, my name is Leon Marie. I'm a member of Global Women in Singapore, and I'm always in Singapore almost every month.
Every month.
That's why I met Catherine,
Right.
who introduced me the oil, and she's so passionate about the oil, about the product, to the point that she went to my hotel just to show me the product.
She showed you, or she's trying to sell you?
She tried. Actually, she showed me the product, what's the benefit and stuff. And to be honest, this is the first time that I bought oil which is so expensive in my end. That's the first time I said, seriously, for Philippine peso, this is almost like, But anyways, it's worth a try, right? So
Great.
the good thing about taking that oil, really lucky I bought that oil, because actually when I went back to the Philippines, I went to the 9,000 Women Summit, and then the next day I get sick. I hit by virus. Okay. So I bring myself to the hospital, and they test me for nCoV, test me for dengue or whatever, because I have a cough, like almost like I want to throw up. It's really bad, and really bad. And then lucky Catherine is online with me, and she told me, like, put the oil on your meridian, on the points.
Wonderful.
And then she told me to use the oil. And I really didn't realize how it helps a lot. Yeah, because I just keep it in my bag. The oil, I bought 2. And then, could you imagine, just like after 2 days, I get rid. Yeah, just after 2 days, I get better, and the virus is gone. And yeah, I'm free from infection. So, and no more fever, and I'm really well. That's why I always want to say thank you so much for introducing
Great.
me.
Now you can see each other and thank each other now. So it was
Yeah,
another successful sales that led on to a positive experience, yeah?
exactly.
Yeah.
And one more thing is like when I showed the oil to one of my business partner, and then he told me that you have a gold there. I had been buying that from overseas,
Right.
and I have millions of that because he stuck it in in his house, because he's a smoker, and he used the oil to cleanse up the lungs. So he's still in his vice, but he spent money to buy the oil. You see what I mean? It's like, oh, really? I didn't really realize that some powerful oil exists like that. And the smell is terrific. It's fantastic. And yeah, the value for money is worth it.
Well,
So
Marie,
yeah.
Oh, that's good.
it kind of seems to be answering your own question about how do you expand your market. Anyway, I'll let Gina counsel you and give you her tips on how you can expand your market.
I think
Yeah.
Marie, with that kind of energy, and you know, even just online, I can feel your passion and your energy and your sincerity. Keep on with that, and with that, you definitely will succeed in Avita. And just like what I said, the first three tips earlier is to be on board with your upline, attend the empowerment. If you are in Singapore, I hope to see you on Tuesday night. And then come for many other events and workshops that we have. Just be plugged into the system and plugged into the team. And
I will. Thank you so much, Gina and Catherine.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Welcome on board.
And with that, I'm going
Thank
to
you.
bring.
I'm really glad.
Welcome on board.
Bye.
Bye there. Okay,
Okay,
we're
Alvin.
going to bring the seminar to close. We're going to thank Gina, okay, Diamond President Gina, for sharing her life story of the last 5 years. It's a very powerful video. The video will be online on YouTube and on centerlight.com forever. So share with your other friends, and I hope that her story will be an inspiration and motivations to many more to pursue their dreams and to succeed beyond their wildest dream. Gina, could I invite you to sign off with your last remarks, your last tips, your last advice, your last whatever you want to say to everybody here, the 60 over participant here?
Yeah, for me is go back to the dreams that you have. As I mentioned earlier, if you have forgotten it, take time this weekend to really recall and be honest to yourself what you really desire in your life, and then yeah, work towards it. Don't give up. If you're already in Avita, continue to work with your mentor. Uplines is very important. Be plugged in always into the system, into the training. We have a very strong education system in Avita, and it will really help you towards your goals. If you are not yet in Avita, for those who are online now in this room and evaluating the business, then speak to the one who have invited you, or even speak to me further. I have some of my classmates from university here inside joining in. So let's have another chat one of these days, and then I could share more with you, and just have the open mind to understand. And for me, is to just share with you what made me chose Avita, and why even until now I will still choose Avita.
All right, and so to end off, I would like to make the announcement for the next Diamond Talk series that will be out. Okay, the release date. Oh, it's like a movie, yeah. The next change. Okay, yeah. Diamond.
I heard it's by David Letterman, is it?
Diamond Talk number 2, right? The title is What to Say what to say when people ask you, what do you do?
What do you do, Alvin?
Yeah, right. You
Not
get
what.
asked all the time, isn't it? What do you do? And how do you respond to that? So release date is going to be on Sunday, 22nd of March. All right. And the next Zoom webinar, we will hold it on Friday, the 27th of March, same time at 8:30 p.m. Okay. So this webinar has been recorded and I would be putting it on YouTube, and you can access it on the centerlight.com website. All right, then. Thank you very much for everybody's coming online. It's been a wonderful sessions until we all meet again. Stay safe during this period of COVID-19. Take 2 capsules of Salogen every day, and also practice your human reset using all the Meridian 101 techniques as well as Avita Herbal Essential Oil. So stay safe, and have a good evening. Good night. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Raise your hand, okay? Raise your hand and you can sign off. Thank you, Gina. Thank you very much.
Bye. Good night.